Here we have two transfer pipettes. These are both made out of plastic, and you can see here this particular one is just a plain transfer pipette with a bulb, and liquid will move up the end part here. And if you take a look at this one, it's a little different simply because there are graduation lines on there marking milliliters of fluid. So if the volume is important, you can use one of these, but most of the time your instructor is going to use transfer pipettes that look like this, okay? Just so that you can make things simple and easy. So I'll show you how this works. Pretty easy. Let's say I have a solution in this beaker and I want to transfer liquid to this beaker over here. So I'm going to squeeze the bulb and draw the liquid inside the transfer pipette and then bring it over to the new beaker. And I want to touch the side of the glass as I do this because I want to make sure that the liquid doesn't splash. If this had been some kind of strong acid or strong base, I certainly don't want that on my skin, and I don't want that on my lab partner's skin either. So it's really important that when you use the transfer pipettes that you take the liquid in and bring the liquid out gently and carefully. Okay? So that's all we have for the transfer pipettes. Okay, here we're going to show you transfer pipettes. These are both made out of plastic. This one's just a plain transfer pipette, no volume markings on it. But this one has tiny little lines that are used to mark off a certain number of milliliters. Now, most of the time when you're transferring liquids, you don't really care about the exact amount that goes into these transfer pipettes. Maybe you're using a graduated cylinder and you're transferring liquid into a graduated cylinder. So in that case, you're using the graduated cylinder to measure the volume, not the transfer pipette. Now I'm going to show you a use for this. Normally we're going to transfer liquids from one container to another. So we can pretend that this is some kind of acid, for example. Now, transferring acids is easy just like transferring any other liquid. You just have to be careful. If there are any drops that are on the tip, maybe you want to touch the side of the beaker here to make sure that they don't end up on the floor or end up on your workspace. And when you transfer them into a new container, make sure that the tip is inside the new container and touching the wall of the glass. So that way the liquid runs down the side of the glass and it doesn't splash and splatter all over your work table. Okay, so this is the proper use of a transfer pipette. One side note is when you're using transfer pipettes, you want to make sure that if this transfer pipette was used for this liquid, keep it with that same liquid. You don't want to contaminate your solutions by using this transfer pipette for this solution and then mix it with another one. That could be a very bad mistake in experimentation.